So within Visual Studio, within larger applications, I don't tend to build a whole application in one file. I want to show you quickly how I can go through and say file. Well, I can do this a couple different ways. Um, so I'll do it the file menu up here. Say new. I can do it file. So I can do it that way, or I can do it contextually right in the project. Say right click. Oh, I'm sorry. So it does depend on where it's coming from. So I clicked on the wrong spot. I clicked up the project here. So I can come down here, right click, add, and then I can say class. So in the header files here, I'm saying add class. And so the name of the class here, I did a product class over there. Let's say, I don't know, something to go with, so something to go with a product. We'll call it a service. So you can sell a product, a physical thing, or you can sell a service. Um, and so now you can see I have a .h file and I get a .c file, CPP file that goes with this. If I have a superclass, I can have that there. You'll learn about that as you go. But just to show you the different things you can add inside of here, I can hit OK. And now you can see it adds in a service.h and a service.cpp. Um, this is the more traditional way to do it because it allows you to separate out the implementation from the implementation. So I can give somebody a .h file to start with and say, hey, code against this. I'll implement this for you later on. And they can start to use it a little bit. And then later on, I can go through and define some of the rest of the implementations and get back to it later. And that's not the most traditional way to do it, but that's the idea of it, separating interface and implementation. So I can define data inside of here. So private. So my service, I can have a string. I can have this also have a name. Oops, sorry, not capital S, lowercase s. String description. And so then I can say double price per hour and int number of hours. So that's what's going on here. I need to also go through and do my pound include string on here. So that way I get that string to compile for me. All right, hold on. I typed it right? Didn't I? Let me just double check myself. Come back here. I think I just need to have this. Oh, I think I'm also need to include one other thing. There you go. Namespace standard. All right. So now I have the basics. Obviously, I have some data items, and I need to put some constructor, some getters and setters on that. So this is the same sort of approach. I can say string get name. I can do string get description. I can do double get price per hour. And I can do int get number of hours. And then on the same flip side of that, I can do void set name. It takes a string. Void set description. Takes a string. Void set price per hour. Takes a double. And void set number of hours as an int. So we have a policy in our company that you only bill for full hours. Let's say you get the bill for partial hours. All right, so now that's my interface. My implementation then has to realize those things. Notice I don't have to repeat any of those things here, but I do need to specify the service class. So service get description. Now it's going to help me do this. And I can say return description. again, the code complete. It's putting it there. So I hit enter and it cleans that up for me. Now let's see what it's complaining about. Incompatible. Let's go Alt and enter and see what it's saying. I must have spelled it wrong. I bet you I spelled it wrong. Let's see. Let's go ahead and copy this. Oh, yeah, I forgot the parameter list. Yeah, that's silly of me. I need to have a string here. Oh, no, I don't. That's a get. I did return. I forgot the return value. Yeah, there you go. String. There you go. Is that going to fix it for me? And I have my parameter list. Yeah. Okay, so even for me, it's easy to get working around. The code completes help me. I've got code flying around. There you go. Now I got that one straightened out. It's easy enough from here. String service colon get name return name. I'm using my code complete there, hitting enter a whole lot. So now I got a double. I'm going to copy this, paste that, get price per hour. Oops. Get price per hour. Control space right there. Complete that up for me. Empty parameter list. Return price per hour. Top one there. Oop, not get price per hour. But that's okay. I can edit that. Return price per hour. Beautiful. And int service colon get number of hours. Empty parameter list. Return number of hours. Oops. Number of hours. Beautiful. All right. So again, this is just separating my implementation and my interface and implementation. I keep doing this service colon. So I can do void instead of here. Service colon set description. And now I can do string D description equals D. Set name, oops. Set name. String N. Name is equal to N. And, oop, forgot the void. Oh, capital S, sorry. That's habits die hard, different language. There you go, much better. Void service, set price per hour, oops. Price per hour is a double P. And now price per hour is equal to P. And one more. Void service set number of hours int n number of hours is equal to n. All right. So there's the implementation of the class. The main difference here is now my service is separated into header and implementation, and it's separated out from the class over here. I can try it out where now that I have my product here, I can also create a service. Let's say we have a chef service. All right, so now I'm going to create a variable service, but I don't have service defined because it doesn't appear in this class. If I want to have something show up from another class, from another file, I've got to include it. So I can say this type of include up here, capital S, service.h up here. So I'm saying I want to be able to include and talk to and use that service class, and then all of a sudden it compiles here. So I can say chef dot set name, private chef, chef dot set description, personal cooking, chef dot set price per hour. Let's say the chef gets $50 an hour, and chef dot set number of hours. It could be a 3-hour prep for doing that meal, as an example. All right, so that's all I'm going to do is set up the class. I'm going to just do a build, make sure everything's happy. Yep, everything succeeded. I can run it, make sure I didn't break anything. Again, it doesn't do anything differently. I haven't told it to do anything differently, but it all still seems to be working right there. And now I could create a method to be able to go off and display something right there. So I have a view product down here. I could also say add an item for view chef. Or right now I'm just going to take the easy way out and do a cout chef.getName. Line. So just to show, oops, I forgot to put my parentheses in there, call my method. You can't forget that. Just to show you that it does work a little bit, because again, this week's focus is on the class. But you see private chef right there showed up. So it definitely is working. So this is the more traditional way to build classes, so that way you can have more classes, you can have multiple people working on classes, everything doesn't have to be in one file, but at least you've seen this approach. You don't have to take this approach, but you can. If you take this approach, then you have to include the file separately, you have to merge them in your Word doc and put it, which is why I'm not pushing it. If we were doing this properly, you'd be submitting a zip file and not a Word doc, but my preference is to see your code. And so if you put it on one file, copy it over, it's easier, that's totally fine as well. If you have multiple files, I'll have to create multiple files on my side. It's not the worst thing for me to have to run it. I can live with it either way. But I do want you to see this other approach towards doing it. All right, so I hope this stuff goes well, and I will see you at the chat if there's any questions, but don't hesitate to email me before then if you do have any questions, and we can get your questions answered at any point.